Hi, very good morning. And today we'll be covering about Apex basics. So, whereas Apex is a strongly typed Salesforce programming language and it is object-oriented programming language that allow developers to execute flow and transaction control statement on the Salesforce platform server. So, here we'll be seeing into the different things of today's session. The first will be creating a simple Apex class and then we'll try to deploy it to Salesforce and then we can execute the Apex classes to get the output out of the class which we created before, right? And let's quickly jump and create an Apex class. And now let's create SFDX, create Apex class, and I'll name as Udemy POC, and my class name is Udemy POC, right? Here you can see public with sharing. For now, we can avoid having a with sharing or without sharing. Let's take it out, and this is how the class structure should look like public class, and here I can say take it off. So now this is your access specifier. This is your access specifier. You can see public is your access specifier which represent whether your Apex class is accessible outside of your organization or within the organization. And class is a keyword reserved by a system which will tell, hey, this is my class. Class is a keyword which denotes the name of a class, and Udemy POC is the class name which we are trying to create. Public is an access specifier which tells the system can be accessible outside within the organization. Class is a named reserved name of a system which helps to understand. System will understand, hey, this is a class, right? Likewise, we can define a method. Let's say we have different things that we can define. Let me quickly introduce you a class variables. Let's say we have a concept called class variables. The class variables again starts with your access specifier. Let me define it as a public. Let me public, and it follows with a data type, static string. It follows with a data type static string, and your variable name. Variable name is student name. And here is an example. If I say student name is Salesforce developer. So here let's understand what is there in this content. Here you have a public which is again access specifier which tells a developer can able to access this variable outside of this class or within the class. So this is a public, and static is a keyword that will tells, hey, this is a variable which we created for a class name. So which technically means if a developer wants to read the variable name of student name, then he need to represent a class name Udemy POC dot the student name which will result Salesforce developer the value out of it. And this is a static which tells to a system this variable can be accessible by a class name. Whereas here you can see a data type which tells what type of information this particular variable will hold, right? So here I am passing a string. If the any value which enclosed with a single quotes, as you can see here, enclosed with a single quotes, this will be treated as a string, and I am telling to a system, hey, whatever the data I am gonna assign to this variable, that is a string, and your variable name and then the value. Clear? And if I want to read this value, let's quickly save it. I'm saving it. Save. Right click on it and deploy this to source org. Once this get deployed, we can execute from a developer console of Salesforce to see the results. Are we getting the student name as we are assigned, right? So let's get it there. So I'm opening my R. Let me get to via. So anyway, I'm already in a developer console. File, open resource. Let's refresh. File, open resource. And what is our class name? Udemy POC. So here also you can do a necessary changes if needed. But the best way to write a code is always a VS code, right? So which is very handy to make necessary changes, and here you'll get auto intelligence that helps. And if I want to execute this code, all you need to go to debug. You need to go to debug, open execute anonymous window. Open execute anonymous window. What is our class name? It is your Udemy. Let's define. I'm defining my variable string result equal to. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to read a value name. So as I mentioned in the previous, so if I want to access any variable which is a static denoted on it, then you can able to access class name, the class name dot your variable name, class name dot the variable name. So to see the output, it's simple, system dot debug, and what is the output that you can see? Result colon, and I'll go and say that, hey, this is my result. Let's simply see it, highlight it, click on open log, execute highlighted, and system will generate a executed statements, and then you can filter down only the debug log. You can see Salesforce developer, but I'm not happy with the Salesforce developer. If I wanted to override, can I able to do it? Yes, I can able to do it. How can I do it? Class name dot variable name, class name dot variable name equal to, here I'll say Procodingskills, and if I want to display the results again, let's say if I want to read these results and if I want to write, you can simply see now it should override a Salesforce developer with a Procodingskills. Execute highlighted. Procodingskills. As I mentioned, you can able to read a value. If the value is calling on your right side of the equal operator, then you are reading a value. If the variable is referencing on the left side of a equal operator, then it is being right? It's being updated or it's being right. This is read. If it is a right, it's a read. On left, it's a read. So we are writing a value of student name with a procoding skill, which eventually override the Salesforce developer before it calls again. And then the results will look like whatever the variable you are trying to update from your executional statements. This is called executional statements. And this is also called as a caller statements that we can discuss in the further classes.